So DTN now guaranteeing himself a spot in Winners Finals, and also, so DTN going to get at least top 3 at this event. And we're going to be seeing next time we get to Winners Finals, it's going to be DTN versus DeBuzz.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting. But before we get there, we're going to be heading back into Losers Bracket, where we will have Ralphie versus Frozen. Ralphie, who sort of perhaps unfortunately had to meet DeBuzz on the winner's side of things. And on the whole, he actually managed to hold it down pretty well. He took a game despite the notoriety that DeBuzz has. So let's see if his play will be extending. We also saw Frozen doing some amazing work against Edwin earlier. So I think that both of these players probably on a bit of a hot streak right now. So, but who will be the hottest of the streaks?
It's all about who's able to really maintain the momentum and just continuously gather stage control. Both of these players are, generally speaking, very movement focused. Corrin as a character, Cloud as a character, but the players themselves. Seeing A1 bring us to Final Destination, I actually really like this. I feel like this is the most neutral possible opening for both of these players as they feel themselves out in the set, but also limit the potential landing options that Cloud and Corrin have at their disposals.
Yes, I've always kind of said that FD is probably the most neutral-heavy stage. Without those platforms, you know, giving alternate approaches or, you know, alternate landing options, basically it's just neutral after neutral after neutral. And wow, what a read from Ralphie, just holding shield at the ledge. After that jab from Corrin, he's actually going to continue the edge guard. Burns his limit, doesn't quite work out, and now he's stuck in a bad situation.
Yeah, Ralphie's going to have to figure out a bit more patient options right now, and I really feel like he's going to be benefited more from holding on to the limit and having it as a potential option to spook his opponent, while not necessarily pulling the trigger and making use out of the benefits from limit. Not only does limit give the opponent, give Cloud a series of kill options, but it also alters several factors of having to do with his movement. Most notably, he has faster walk and run speeds. His aerial acceleration and air speeds are faster, and on top of that, what it's already able to do for a character that has such great aerial movement, he can just contest in the air so frequently and with such strength.
Yeah, and this is what we're seeing right now, just the movement from Ralphie all over the place. He's just netted so much damage on Frozen, 80%. And that pin might actually do it. Oh, really smart there. Frozen doesn't want to give him the chance to possibly recover, so he does the double tap and pins him to oblivion. Now bringing this both to one stock apiece, but Ralphie still with the notable lead. I love seeing power shields. Just overall, like that's the next level stuff in this game. And we're seeing Ralphie getting power shields on what would normally be a safe move from Frozen. But, you know, when you power shield, all shield stun basically disappears. So there's almost no move in the game that's safe.
I like that, just the single hop out of the Dragon Lunge. If you don't press any buttons out of Dragon Lunge, Corrin just performs a small hop. And as we saw in that situation, it's really good mix-up just for the sake of crossing up, and it's what allowed Frozen to be able to get the upper hand on Ralphie and take out this game. You know,
just the rage that Frozen had. He's aware that if he stays alive and then he gets that proper opening, he just can close out stocks like that, especially against a character like Cloud, who when he's recovering, there's a lot of fear involved, you know?
Yes.
Especially Frozen, who's just so good at doing it, and Ralphie knows that. Just whenever Ralphie's off stage, you can see like all sorts of flowcharts going through his head, just like, what can I do? How can I even make it back? As we saw there, he wasn't even able to.
Game 2, we're seeing a bit of the same of what we saw previously. Both of these players just opening up with lots of damage. However, Ralphie with all the stage control right now and just trying his best to keep Frozen at the ledge. It's not going to work, however, re-entering the neutral, and Ralphie just resets for this ledge situation. This is where he's going to be getting a lot of his damage on Frozen. However, pulling the trigger way too early on that limit cross slash, once again putting him in a terrible disadvantage state as Frozen starts to tie up the percentages, and forcing Cloud off stage without his limit makes his recovery significantly more linear. And that's where the danger comes in. When Frozen has a strong idea of where you're coming in from, is where you get pierced.
Yeah, and right now, but the close out there. Beautiful stuff from Ralphie. And honestly, on the whole, Ralphie's neutral has just been stellar. Like, I feel like he's been winning like 3-1 of the neutral exchanges. Like, look at that. He's just making all of these proper calls. The speed that Cloud has also can make things different for Corrin because it can be hard for her, you know, Frozen to space on shield when Cloud just covers so much distance to get in. The aggressive options a lot from Frozen, actually. That out there, though, going to be doing it.
It was good DI on Ralphie's half, but with a little bit of rage behind Frozen, and Ralphie's sitting at 149%. That stock was destined to fall. However, we'll see if Ralphie's able to tie things up here and now, as he has the ledge control, not a percentage built up onto him until just now. And with 96% in counting on Frozen, if Ralphie plays this out right, Frozen should be able to take this game back just on the basis that Cloud with Limit is rather devastating. However, Frozen opting to prove me wrong immediately with a fantastic string of aerials and already forcing Ralphie to regain and utilize the Limit.
This is, really smart using the dash attack to hit below ledge. But this is like, I'm having flashbacks to game 1 here. Ralphie had this huge lead, and Frozen, the comeback king, last time managed to close it out, and this time, I wouldn't be surprised if he does it as well. Cloud, of course, definitely has kill power, and Ralphie knows how to use it, but just the clutch factor that Frozen just constantly uses, like up throw will probably not quite yet, but soon up throw might actually be a possible killing factor. And 140% on Frozen, that neutral air, unfortunately for Ralphie, is going to reverse, and no, just hanging on here, but this is so close. Both characters definitely at their kill percent, a brilliant blade beam, but it's not going to finish it right now. But that neutral air, so smart, dropping down there. A little bit of a hard commitment from Ralphie, but it pays off, managing to tie up the score 1-1.
In general, I feel like that was just a fantastic gambit from Ralphie. He recognized that he was close enough to the ledge that he would be able to jump and climb hazard his way back, and he needed to put something in the way between him and Frozen. And I feel like the Limit Blade Beam was just a fantastic cross-up option. We don't see it from Ralphie too often. And while it may not have killed, it did put Frozen on the opposite side of the stage, deep in the blast zone, enough for Ralphie to be able to position himself just in time to place a simple nair. This is a set I feel that's going to end up going back and forth.
Oh yeah, especially because we've seen just Frozen on his first stock is like, eh. Frozen on his second stock is like, oh. He just turns it up so much. He's so good at mounting these comebacks. And here we again see Ralphie taking a pretty early lead of about 40%, and it's growing, but this doesn't matter to me anymore. We've seen it again and again. Frozen has, he managed to clutch game 1. Game 2 was so last hit. So even if Ralphie manages to make these, big plays at the beginning, it's what happens at the end that really is going to decide who will move on in bracket.
We see the cross slash out, and a rather unsafe Dragon Lunge is going to be costing that stock for Frozen. Even though he has a bit more space to maneuver himself, I feel like he has to do so a bit more intelligently. Staying right on top of Ralphie, with Ralphie being this aggressive, is incredibly dangerous. And if he's not controlling the momentum of the match, he can't be affording to misposition himself like that.
Yeah, and also we've already seen when Cloud has Limit, all of a sudden Pin, the crux of Corrin's gameplay, becomes a lot less safe. And we saw there before how, wow, that was so amazing from Ralphie. He knows that even if he was to limit climb hazard back, there's a chance he could get 2 frames. So instead, he throws out that Limit Blade Beam, which locks Frozen in place, allowing him to return. But now he's caught in this trying to get back down to the ground situation. And even though we had a huge lead for Ralphie at the beginning, Frozen is just, it looks like he's about to even this up.
It just goes to show that Frozen is unwavering in his mental fortitude when it comes to this game. However, he's going to have to waver a little bit harder, as now he sits a further game down from Ralphie with a very convincing game 3 going to Ralphie's favor.
Yeah, that was actually really smart from Ralphie. Frozen was using a lot of aggressive options to get back to the stage. And it was like, you could tell that the reason that Ralphie threw it out then is because he's starting to figure out the timing of when Frozen is put on ledge, when Frozen is put in that bad situation. Maybe he's getting a little bit predictable because Ralphie threw out that limit cross us at the perfect time in order to close out that game 3.
With Game 4 taking us to Lilac Cruise, I don't particularly know about this stage pick for Frozen, just because we've already seen that Ralphie performs incredibly strong on this stage. And the fact that it's a bit smaller of a stage with a lot less room to stretch your arms, per se, I feel like Corrin's movement's going to be hampered a little bit, especially by how large and safe Cloud's hitboxes are from his aerials.
And right now, once again, this is the same story we've seen all 3 games, where Ralphie gets that early lead, but now Frozen actually starting to mount the comeback quicker than we've seen before. He might actually take the first stock here. Wow, and he actually got trumped. I can't believe it. What a bizarre series of events. Frozen finally taking the lead. It's only by 1%, but he has Ralphie in this juggle situation.
A very risky counter surge from Frozen, and it's not going to really net him anything for it. In fact, I feel like it was a particularly bad option, not because he didn't land anything with it, but because he's reminded Ralphie that that's an option at his disposal. He's taken the lead now, but at 126%, he's going to have to stay evasive. He can't let Ralphie take this stock, or else, as we've seen from the past previous games, this can get very volatile very quickly. As I finish that sentence, the stock does manage to finish up, and now at base percentages, once again, we'll see who takes the early lead.
This time, though, Frozen, you know, he is the king of comebacks, but he definitely wants to keep things a lot more even than we've seen before. The aggressive options from Frozen are working out really well. It seems like every time he's in a bad spot, like, you know, Corrin basically has the tools to actually contest a Cloud trying to chase her down. So Frozen's doing a great job of using that, but again, the unsafe pin, not going to be the stock, but that's some big damage, and bringing Frozen ever closer to death's door.
Now with the neutral taking place on the center stage, Ralphie knocked to the right thanks to the Dragon Lunge, and Frozen opting just to return himself to the ledge, but it's going to give Ralphie just enough time to get limit. Now with a quick back air, he is going to gain stage control, and now the Blade Beam following the curve of the ship is going to allow Ralphie to take the set 3-1.
Brilliant stuff from Ralphie. And I just want to say that